For 9 months now, the coronavirus 19 pandemic has changed the world in nearly every way. Grocery stores have become battlegrounds for toilet paper and hand sanitizer. Wildfires have ravaged around the world, destroying everything in their path, and the field of education and work has changed forever. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, in the peak of the pandemic, over 1.5 billion learners were affected in some way. COVID-19 has forced the hand of school systems and educators to figure out another way to keep providing a consistent and valuable education. The primary solution for this was, and has been, online learning. There is a problem with online learning, however, and we're not the only ones to have noticed it. My team and I conducted a survey where we asked our peers what they thought about the current situation. We asked, "What type of learning do you like best?" And over 85% of people said that they prefer in-person or hybrid learning. One student said, "I think online learning can be very overwhelming, but also offers exciting opportunities. However, I don't think that it can ever really have the same impact as in-person learning unless it was planned to be digital from the beginning." We wanted to try to solve this problem, so we first looked at what already existed.
There are many educational apps, tools, and websites available to help students be successful in school. Apps such as Google Classroom, Slack, Discord, and Khan Academy are all powerful services, offering tools that aid in the learning experience. Google Classroom is a space where educators can post assignments and interact with students. Slack and Discord create an environment for teams to work together and collaborate synchronously. And Khan Academy offers a curriculum with online learning at its forefront. We believe that if we could create something that achieves all of these things effectively, we could change the way that online learning and collaboration works moving forward. Google Classroom lacks the aspect of synchronous interaction. Discord and Slack lack educational tools for educators. And while Khan Academy offers excellent tools, it is missing features required for a classroom environment. This is not to say that these tools haven't been successful though. For many of us and our peers, these services have been the backbone of our online educational experience. But because the landscape has changed, we believe that these options will need to change as well.
Apps like Khan Academy, Slack, Google Classroom, and Discord are said to be successful when using them for schools and online classes. What we do know as students is that these are not always very effective, especially when talking about social interaction with other students. The in-person class environment offers students the opportunity to interact with others, exchange thoughts, and overall help them because developing the ability to communicate and create bonds and friendships is a very important part of the educational experience. Websites like Khan Academy and Google Classroom don't offer a way for users to interact with each other similarly as they would in school. We have found that video chats sometimes might be a good solution for this problem, but most of the time, students opt out of using it. Not having a way to interact and create personal connections with students and professors creates a different and challenging learning environment. These challenges make students' learning experience a lot less effective. This makes students a lot less interested in class and more distracted, which eventually impacts their grades. All of these factors impact students' learning experiences today and will continue to do so in the future.
So we began to ask ourselves this: how might we make education more accessible for students? And we quickly realized that multimodality was key. While many virtual aids only focus on one aspect of the classroom, our solution aims to provide as much use and accessibility as possible to its users. We created a system that combines elements of education and tutoring services, as well as video chat rooms, and applies them to a virtual collaborative workspace we are calling Community Desk. For teachers, Community Desk acts as a host for all their meetings, whether it be classroom sessions, one-on-ones with students, or meetings with other teachers. Teachers also have access to the tutoring section, in which they can add class notes, study guides, and other helpful resources. For students, Community Desk provides a space to collaborate with other classmates, as well as gain access to impactful tips and tricks to help them along the way. Students can either schedule meetings with their teachers for tutoring sessions, use resources posted by the teachers, or can utilize our catalog of helpful subject-based tools collected from other professional resources. These tools include practice exercises, instructional videos and worksheets, study guides, and more. Students can create their own text channels outside of the classroom. This is a great option for students to create study groups, project groups, or simply have a space to talk with their friends. Community Desk puts emphasis on the importance of duality within the educational system. The independent work of a single student is just as important as the collective work of multiple students.
Our solution process began with the statement starters, where we listed problems that our world faces in different categories such as health, political, environmental, and humanitarian issues. We then narrowed it down to ideas that we felt most connected with and concluded with the decision to focus on education and how students are being affected with having to adapt to these new online learning styles. Our next step was creating a stakeholder map to identify the individuals or groups of people that take part in education services. This helped us get a visual representation of all of the people who could have an influence on our project and how they connect with one another. Once the stakeholders were identified, we categorized them in different levels of engagement, allowing us to see how much influence each has on the topic of education. The stakeholder mapping led us to produce our final statement starter, which was, how might we make learning more accessible? After coming up with our final statement starter, we then started to create an abstraction ladder. The abstraction ladder gave us more concrete ideas, starting with the most abstract idea, asking why, and working our way down to asking how. This helped us describe our thoughts and come up with a potential idea. After doing the abstraction ladder, we headed over to make a creative matrix. This processing method allowed us to expand our ideas by intersecting discrete categories. We were able to look at our stakeholders and potential solutions and see what solutions worked with each stakeholder the most effectively. The next step was the importance and difficulty matrix. With this part of the process, we prioritized our potential ideas and gave ourselves a better understanding of their importance to our project. After going through these methods of processing our solution, we came up with the idea of creating a service that combines a variety of online learning tools in an attempt to replicate the in-person learning experience.